get these guys. Puppy love. Now me, I have my first wife, still got my first wife. You can learn from other people's mistakes, right?
Yes.
You know, puppy love. We call it puppy love. Have you ever heard that?
Yeah.
They're unpredictable. So that is one of their characteristics, the strengths, the energy. It's a strength, isn't there, that they're unpredictable, energetic. Don't you like that? Energetic, like you all. Some of y'all are too energetic in this class. And then I saw somebody throw something at the other student one day in this class. Okay, independent, dependent. So they want to think that they're independent, but really they're dependent on whom? Their parents, their boss, always asking for a raise from their boss, always asking for extra credit from their professor, their teacher. Wow. So one day they, Tim, the husband here, he got a raise from his job at the car dealership. He's parking cars at the car dealership and washing cars and stuff like that. So he got a 50 cents per hour raise. So guess what he did? He went and bought a new stereo for his car, $600 stereo for his car. On a 50-cent raise, that's not quite enough. 50 cents an hour raise. And he said, to celebrate, I'm gonna go to the Airliners game tonight, a baseball game, with my friend Jake. Okay, so Jake and I are gonna go, and so the tickets are not free. No. It'd be like going to the Drillers game. It's not too expensive, but it's a lot when you work at the car dealership, you know. And so she's thinking, Jackie's thinking, what is going on with this? So why don't you go with me? Why did you go with me? Because of this little factor right here. Because it costs too much. Yep, it costs too much. Anyway, she checked on them. She went down and went to their favorite restaurant, and there they were. Jake and Tim, her husband, and Jake's wife, and another girl. Woo! Just sitting in the restaurant visiting. So what did she do? She went back home. She went back home. Threw all of his stuff, all of his clothes into the rose bushes. Anybody know what a rose bush is? It has sticklers on it, right? Oh, you don't want to, it'll tear you up. Threw his clothes in the rose bushes. And she locked the door and pushed furniture against the door so he couldn't get in. So when he came home, he couldn't get in. His key didn't even work in the door. He said, "Let me in." And he kicked on the door, started yelling, and they were yelling at each other. Going to the Airliners game with Jake, huh? I saw you down at the restaurant and so on. The neighbors called the police. About the time police got there, her parents arrived. And so she went home with her parents, and he actually kicked in the door. So he had to sleep on the couch in front of the door to make sure nobody came in and stole their stuff. So, yeah, what a deal. That's these little kids here, the kids' marriage. Independent, dependent.
Yeah, average.
Impulsive, without thought for the future. Impulsive, without thought for the future. All right? They are independent, but they want to be independent, but they're dependent. The strength is their youth, right? They get over it. What happened? Well, Tim called Jackie's mother a few days later and said, how's Jackie doing? Oh, she's fine. And Jackie called Jake to see how Tim was doing, and then they got back together and everything was fine. So until the next time something happens. So that's what they're doing. So their strength is their youth. They get over it. But their weakness is what? Their youth, yeah. So this is why, remember on the marriage quiz, we said about that the divorce rate for marriages under 18 are 5 times higher than for more mature marriages. So improving the marriage. Improving the marriage. What can we do? Okay, here's what we can do. We can, number one, give them more contact with parents or other adults. Maybe they have to answer to someone, make them accountable, give some accountability partners. A church is a good place to get that. Be nice to each other. Remember, politeness means to do the nicest thing in the nicest way, and it's a better way to live. Now, that is not a cute saying. It's not something to be cute. It's the truth. It's much better to live in a nice environment than where everybody's rude to the others. Okay, they need to attend a couples retreat or seminar and make sure when you get married, you look up. We just had one at Victory, and you go to a couples retreat or seminar at your church very often. Every time one comes around, maybe even at another church, just look for those things. Read books like Easterling's book. Read books on marriage. Just keep yourself fresh and keep it in mind. Join a couples Bible study, fellowship group. At our church, we used to call them cell groups, right? Cell groups, something like that. Sunday school class, very good. Also, wait it out. If they will stay married, then they will become one of the other marriage personas. They'll become one of the others if they just wait. For this one, they're going to mature. They're going to get more mature as they go on. It's like if you don't want to get a DIVORCE this year, then wait another year, because every year of marriage, divorce becomes less likely. So just wait another year. If you don't want to get a divorce this year, let's say, let's wait until next year. Then next year it'll be less likely. Okay, so just keep doing that. And there you are. There's a solution to the problema. All right. Finally, the last one out of our 7 marriage persona, how many? 7 takes you to heaven. Okay. So the sublime marriage. This is, what's our address here? And who are you? 7777. Across the street, 7700. Lewis Avenue. Sublime marriage. What does sublime mean? Happy, smooth sailing. They're moving beyond survival in this one, beyond survival. That sounds good. They truly enjoy one another, whether alone or with others. They really like being with each other. They enjoy each other. Oh, that's a cool thing. They're not pouty. They're not just dominating you either. What do we say? 2 equal adults who choose to love each other. Jealousy is rare. You trust each other. Trust. Intentional commitment. 2 equal adults who love each other on purpose. They're committed to each other. And remember the 3-legged stool of commitment. They're committed to each other by name, committed to their relationship, their marriage, and they're committed to marriage as a holy sacrament. And consider what's best for the other person, not for myself, but for the other person. Now that's kind of a good deal, isn't it? You got somebody looking out for you and you're looking out for them? Pretty good. So it's companionate love. But remember, companionate love, trust, we said that. RESPECT, respect. Don't marry someone whom you do not respect, you don't trust. Okay. Commitment, and so on. And then strengths. Strengths is marriage. Well, they're mature. They negotiate, have the ability to negotiate, and they're committed to the relationship. They're committed. They like it, and so they want to keep it. And they have some interpersonal affection. It's so good. They're long distance runners. In other words, they're in for the long distance. Sprint is good. Sprint is great. That would be your romantic love. But the long distance run would be the marathon, if you will. Companionate love. So what about the weaknesses? Do they have weaknesses? It sounds pretty good, but they might still have some weaknesses, right? Number one, they're still individuals. they're two adults who love each other, and choose each other, but they were brought up in different families, maybe different cities, maybe different churches, and so on. So they have to adjust. Maybe they still have some distinct identities. Also, maybe they're so satisfied that they're exclusive. They don't necessarily feel like they need to fellowship with other couples, but they still need to, because if you get too isolated, what happens? Did you ever see a fireplace? You can't burn one log in the fireplace. It won't burn. It needs other logs around it. Isn't that crazy? You can't burn one lump of charcoal. It takes others around it, and they help the fire to go. That's just what it is. So one couple by themselves, they do pretty well, but they still need some fellowship with other people. And they have irritability due to outside pressure. So one day, Joey got an offer to move from Chicago to California, to Los Angeles, to be a district manager for his company. Wow, going to make some big bucks here. It's pretty good. You have to in California anyway. So wow, he's going to make some big bucks. And he's so excited about it. He tells her, but her whole family lives right there in the Chicago area. She doesn't want to move. Their church, everything's good. Everything's good. And so he just says, hey, we're going to move to California. And she was hurt that he didn't discuss it with her. And then a couple of days later, he said he realized she wasn't as excited as he was. And he's decided, you know what? We'll just stay here in Chicago. I don't need that old job. We're happy here. We're just going to stay right here. And she said, no, I've already told my mom. I'm starting to get excited about it too. And if you're happy, I'm happy. So he was willing to not go, and she was willing to go. So that's pretty good. So what can we do to improve this marriage? Both of them need to rely not on themselves, but also on God, and to focus daily on their relationship with Jesus Christ. Focus daily on their relationship. Without Jesus, you're going to be a failure. I don't care how cool you are, good looking you are, how good you smell, and all this. Very successful. You're not successful without Jesus. It's going to backfire on you.